And from there alone, we can find innovative solutions to the problems that we have. And I guess one will become a national bureau. They can fix the traffic problem in Metro Manila. Incubator Management Workshop. I don't know how many of you have TBIs or incubators, but we also do a workshop with those who have incubators, basically to make sure that management practices for managing incubators would be standard or at least a minimum. This is a concept of a rising tide raises all boats. So if we have, sometimes we bring in professors who manage incubators themselves, and when they manage that, we bring them here, we bring the professors in, at least they ask questions, and in some instances they're assigned to a university that has a PBI which they get to visit and help. This is for next year. We will have a design thinking workshop in the National Quiz Competition. This will go up, and I will ask Dr. Ronquillo for a list of all of your email addresses. We'll do a blast out. If you have entrepreneurs or startups who want to join the pitching competition, by all means, everyone's welcome. Benchmarking visits. We have a group normally of about 2 to 3 HCIs or 2 to 3 professors from each HCI. So that's about 6 to 9 that we take to the US for 2 weeks and basically visit 2 areas. One would be the universities. They could visit 1 or 2 universities, find out how they teach entrepreneurship, find out how they link with the funders, how they link with the outside of the private sector. And then the other group is visit with other startup companies, what their issues have been in terms of growing. And then of course sometimes we take them to the more glamorous startups like Google or Facebook or whatever. But we also have benchmarking visits in Singapore. We've done that twice already for some of these universities. All of you attend that. This is probably the most challenging area and probably the hardest or the one that takes a long time to germinate. In the first 2, we could see the impact faster, but in the policy agenda, it's a lot more difficult. We obviously have to work with the academia, we have to work with the private sector, we have to work with the government. The government being the most challenging because our priorities or the academics' priorities or the private sector's priorities may not necessarily be the government's priorities. So I'll go through later what we've done here and what the next steps are that we're doing. But I call it a 4-corner square. The first one are the social enterprises. And the social enterprises obviously need help. They need to work with the government, get increased investments for education, entrepreneurship, and technology. When I say technology, that includes our communications. I think Korea, speed, although we're starting to catch up in terms of speed, is about multiples, 8 to 10 times as fast as ours. Right? In the States, residences go from 250 megs to 1 gig speed. That's residences. That's not even corporation. So, if let's say Korea is at about 100, when I look at this measure, they're at about 100, and we were at about, let's say, 20, and that's being generous. That's 5 to 1. So if we're competing with a Korean to download information, competitive information, they're finished in 1 hour, we're still chatting along for 5 hours. That's our challenge. It doesn't mean it can't be done, it just means that's our challenge. Government, innovative startup law. We were also asked to make our comments on the IRRs, which we have done. The ease of doing business. I don't know if you noticed, we have the World Economic Forum, Global Competitive Index. We went as low as, or as best at that age, as best as 56. We started, I think when they started measuring this, past 75, we went to 75. And 2 years ago, we were at 56. We dropped 8 notches, we're now at 64. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean we haven't improved, because I think we have. It just means the other countries are going faster. So it's not a static target. It's a moving target, because everyone's getting better, they're putting more resources, so are we, but it just shows that we're falling behind. So that's our challenge, and that's what we need to work with the government in terms of reform. And then the present bill, which addresses social entrepreneurship, and a collaborated, consolidated, more focused approach for social entrepreneurship. Private sector, improve ease of access to credit from financial institutions. I'm a retired banker, so I know what this is. In the Philippines, although it's changing, in the Philippines we used to lend against real estate. That's it. We've improved, we now do it on cash flow basis and so forth. But if you're a startup, after you've gone through whatever you can get from your family and friends, you have to start going to other institutions, one of which is banking. But it's difficult for banking. But it doesn't mean they can't lend, it just means they have to have the expertise. In the US, in Silicon Valley, there's a bank called Silicon Valley Bank. And their biggest exposure of their biggest expertise is in tech startups. Of course, what they do is they also take some shares, and that's how they also make their money outside of the lending. But they have the expertise, and I think here in the Philippines, we have to develop that expertise. And then engaging the private sector in policy development. As I mentioned, we have to discuss policy reform, not just from the academic side, in terms of our governance of the university, but also working with the private sector and also working with the government. Lastly, would be the academic, and I would like to work with you, or I challenge you, that in your governance plan for your own specific university, start looking at it to be more entrepreneurial in mindset, entrepreneurial in culture, technopreneurship in culture. The technopreneurship is really a coined term. It's really more entrepreneurial, be it in tech, entrepreneurial in other disciplines, not necessarily in the STEAM disciplines. It could be entrepreneurial in the arts, right? It could be innovative in the arts, and you could disrupt whatever is happening. So this is where the challenge is. What we're working on is, we in PhilDev at this point, is a template in terms of how to address this technopreneurship governance plan within the university, from which each SUC could take off and say, we want this, we want that. But at least there is a core or a minimum that all the SUCs would have across. This is what we worked on in the policy agenda. The first one on the left are basically the 6 topics that we looked at. Public investments, the need for public investments, private investments, ease of doing business, data access. This is one of my big bugaboos, right? Because we have lots of data, we do lots of reports, but they don't share. I mean, in my own industry, so I'm still the director of a bank, we give reports day in and day out. And when you say, well, how does the banking system look? It's not just us, but how does the banking system look? So at least we can compare what we're doing. We can't get that data. My question is why not? You don't have to give the names, just put it as a banking system. It applies to every industry. PSA is supposed to be our body for statistics, right? Now, I don't know if everything's available, or it's accurate, or it's updated. I know it's not, because I've tried to get some data, and the data I would get is 2 to 3 years back. Right? But you need the data, particularly if you're an entrepreneur. You want to know, you want to market, you want to validate your data. You need to have that market data. Networks, and then the HEI roles. We have finished doing our roundtable discussions, We've done it one-on-one interviews with investors, with creditors, with SEs. So we've done that. We've gone through our focus group discussions. And the focus are the pain points of the SEs, the financing landscape. We're trying to find other vehicles on how to finance SEs. And then the entrepreneurship governance plan. This is where we are. And then our output, which we'll do next year, end of this year into next year, is to work with the various providers, HCIs being one of them in terms of setting up the governance plan. And then the hope is that we'll end up with issues, papers, and hopefully will change. The landscape's changing. We have our Philippine Innovative Law, we have the startup law, and the present. The challenge is how we coordinate the government agencies, the budgeting for it, and it's really in the rules and regulations, right? Now, after all of this, so what? What does it do to me? The question is, these I listed off your letter. These are the areas that PASOK and PC, there's a typo, it's a typo, it's PC, not PSI. PC focus. Food production, environment, disaster recovery or disaster risk, renewable energy, marine and terrestrial resources, health systems. All of these are all challenges for us. I looked at this and I said, how do I prioritize? And I'm sure if we ask everyone to prioritize, we'll have however many permutations there are. Because it all depends on what your specific need is. So you're internalizing it, what your family need is, what your university, what your community. Right? And I would say this is where you start going through the diagnosis. What changes do we want to make? Or how do we want to develop our plan? We did this, and I will tell you there's a bias here. But we wanted to assess the university's readiness for technopreneurship. So we basically have 7 categories. First, leadership and governance. Starts at the top. And as presidents, you basically lead it. You're open to it and gung ho to do technopreneurship. Everyone else follows. Support structure. That support structure is both physical, it could be network, it could be your faculty. Entrepreneurship development. This is training of the professors to teach entrepreneurship or to have an entrepreneurial mind. We had a program for this. Unfortunately, it hasn't been implemented. You can ask the question later. Pathways for entrepreneurs. The question is, how do the entrepreneurs, how do they get access? How are the staff and the entrepreneurs engaged? I'll throw something out. I would guess many of you have high school students or K through 12 as part of your university. And if you do, and if you have a PBI, when was the last time, or have you ever invited 7th graders up to the seniors to your PBI? 2 things. One told me yesterday that he went to UC Berkeley last week, and he saw a group of 14-year-olds from Switzerland. 14-year-olds from Switzerland visiting UC Berkeley's incubator. We had a visiting professor 2 years ago who manages the incubator for Texas A&M. And what he does is every quarter, he goes around all the high schools, the junior high schools of his area, and invites the 8th graders to spend a Saturday in their incubator. He does 2 things. He helps the university counselors who are trying to get students to apply to Texas A&M. He gets them interested in Texas A&M. As an 8th grader, by the time you're a senior, you already know Texas A&M, you know where the dorms are, you know where the eating facilities are, and you know where the incubator is. And they start thinking of incubator, they start thinking of what can I do, what ideas. At 8th grade, you are what? 13 years old? 12 years old? That's how young they're starting in the US, some universities. So, if you have high school or K-12 in your universities, think about, it doesn't have to be every day, think about inviting 8th graders, seniors, juniors to your pediatric, expose them to what's being done. They'll get the, if you have a 3D printer, they'll get the thinking. You just print whatever you want to print, so at least they see technology. Industry relationships, that's a private partnership. Internalization, that's our benchmarking. And then the impact measurement is the M&E, the monetary evaluation. You'll see that the numbers are high. This is what the bias that I said. We surveyed 14 ACIs, 65 administrators, faculty from these 14 ACIs. The 14 ACIs are the ones that we've been working with over the past 3 to 4 years, 5 years. So we would expect these numbers to be higher because we've been working with them. This, I think, would be a good start. We have more detail, but this would be a good start, and I heard you're going to have a diagnostic tool. This is a good way to start to evaluate how ready your SUC is in terms of entrepreneurship or technical readiness.